of my buddies who was a marketing rep for a title company. He came in and I'm like, I love those shoes. What are they? And he told me what they were, so I went online and bought their Under Armour.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, so. But they were discontinued, so I got lucky and found it.
You were mentioning, so next time we come into Southwest, we're going to do that.
Yeah, I'll get it all set up every time. Get those in there again.
You know what else needs to be updated? That one was a resource.
Good morning, how you doing? One thing at a time. That's on my list though.
That's gonna take some time.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Can't complain.
Well, good.
It's good, but nobody will listen.
No one ever does.
I think we really care.
Nope.
Of course we would.
Wink, wink.
Hey, Gabriel. Good morning. How are you?
Very good, sir. How about you?
Good.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, you.
Sir, you just need to talk with your Mark.
You're the oldest one in this room.
Well, you don't know that.
I know that.
You can't prove that. You can't prove that.
Well, you have more gray, the most gray hair.
Yeah, that's true. Probably the most wrinkles too.
You're all set.
It's live then.
It is live.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You get the transaction that's all good?
I went home and I actually uploaded all the ones for the listing and for the sales.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Need to go over it again though, with waiting for it to go up on YouTube, so I could actually remember how to, when you're doing that, you know, the things you can put in and keep them there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, the template?
Template.
Yeah. They actually had a. I thought you were there. Yes.
I was there.
Yeah.
She had a class, but I couldn't remember when I went. Yeah. And then as far as filling out the
Yeah. So on
the sales, when you sell a house, the contract.
Yeah. Once you go on the I think transaction desk, is the second bottom left. It's just a little like paper. You just click on that, and I'll bring it up. From what I remember watching them.
Right, and yeah, like I said, I did a lot of it. I just gonna redo it. I remember Wendy said a lot of stuff about the when you sell a house, that contract. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
What she writes in and all that stuff. I want to go back.
Oh yeah, I want her to go do the whole paper, but slow.
Yeah, and she was in a hurry.
I couldn't.
That's why I want to redo it.
Oh yeah. No, the paper form I couldn't keep up. She was going too fast.
Yeah, she was going too fast.
Cause like she only had like 15 minutes and
she was
going.
just
Then
rushing.
I think I had the old papers. Like I guess some of us had the old papers, and I think I was one of them. because it was like she was saying things. I was like, yeah, I don't see this at all.
Yeah, she had a different contract. Sales.
You guys shouldn't use the transaction desk first of all, you should use it SkySlope.
All right.
Well, we were told to use transaction desk, and then after you sell something, you put it up into SkySlope.
No, SkySlope is a whole product called Forms, which replaces transaction desk.
See, that's
So
what they
we're
were.
gonna talk differently. I don't. We're new. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even have my license yet. I was just there to learn, and I didn't know.
When you go into transaction desk, if you open the top right, you'll see 3 dots. When you click on that, there'll be an option to click in the forms. When you open forms up, it's like opening transaction desk. You can open templates, you can do all that stuff that you do in transaction desk, and it stays within the place you're gonna move everything to.
We'll have to ask it. I know the lady there, Mary.
Yeah.
She likes us using transaction desk for
Who's
whatever.
that?
Mary's the one that, I guess when you come in with all the paperwork, she's the one that uploads it to SkySlope, and she likes everything filled out in transaction desk.
Oh, you're a TC,
Yeah,
transaction coordinator, is
Yeah.
that what you're doing?
yeah. Well, no, Mary's, I think, the transaction coordinator. She's the one that makes sure all the paperwork is correct.
And she's asking you to bring it in and hand it to her.
Well, she says, she's the one that was teaching us SkySlope, transaction desk.
And where was this at?
Summer,
You know who she was?
Mary something.
Interesting.
So, you can't have anybody in trouble.
No. There, it's called, technology has changed. And Realty, LBR tried to come out with a product called Remind. And Remind was supposed to shut down transaction desk and shut down everything, and that's all we were supposed to use is Remind. Well, everybody in town threw a hissy fit. I mean, every brokerage in town, every broker in town threw a hissy fit. And they went after them and said, we're not doing this. So everybody started doing their own thing and cutting off of LBR. And Realty One took SkySlope, which was what our product after the fact, where we put our signed documents, and SkySlope created a product called Forms, which is the same thing as transaction desk, and now we can send electronically for signatures and everything, all within SkySlope.
Oh, okay.
So they're still going by their old ways. They're used to transaction desk and they don't want to break the habit of using transaction desk. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah. Because I don't have the hole punchers, huh?
They might have print desks.
Yeah, I'm usually at this one, but Wendy was telling us when she came here Wednesday that she was having a class, and I was like, screw it, I'll go. So I went and showed up. But hey, no, I'd rather do SkyScope than this, if that's what we're supposed to be doing. So
Well, next time you open SkySlope, click up in the top right, you'll see 3 dots, and one of them will say Forms. Open Forms, and you'll see everything that's in the transaction desk is in Forms. All the documents and everything up there.
sounds perfect. Makes
You
it
can
easy.
show them all out right there. Makes it a lot easier. But old dogs have new tricks,
So, since you're a Green Valley sales manager, you only work with Green Valley people?
I work with all 4 offices.
Oh, okay.
Whoever needs help.
Oh, okay.
But I've been around doing this for 20 years, so. And I've got an MBA, so I was in corporate my whole life, so.
Okay.
You've got 5 minutes.
People your initial houses too, do you know what they're looking for, so I can narrow down where the first thing stuff. Or how to list the houses. Okay.
Yeah, so I already have the 4 that they wanna look at.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Are they all on one side of town or?
yeah, so 2 of them's in Del Webb, and, it's 2 houses in Del Webb and 2 houses in, and then 2 condos in, South Shore. They're wishes in, Las Vegas. So they're all in that area, so I was thinking if I just pick you up, and then just hit those real quick. They do wanna look at one of the lots, and the Del Webb, just to see, look at the view, and see if the view would change his mind on, building the house. But it sounds like he doesn't wanna build at all, so I was thinking that was gonna be a quick stop, our first quick stop. And it the 2 houses that are, in Del Webb. Then we'll end it with the 2 condos in, South Shore.
They're all 18.
So, yeah, we're gonna have to make appointments. I know the one on, 57 Stucca Court is not vacant. So that's the one we're gonna, have to.
These are open houses you guys are gonna go to, or
No,
just gonna go look at new homes or what?
I have a buyer.
Oh, awesome.
But
John,
Yes, sir.
quick question, your business card, did you do that through the computer through?
No.
Yeah, it was custom, huh, 'cause
We have a company over
I like
in
it.
Henderson, called,
I love that matte finish that you have on yours. It's really
yeah,
nice.
when you touch it. and-
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
Put it down.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like looking at everybody else that comes out of
do you just want
our computer.
like
It
do
has that,
basically
yeah,
face to it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ever need
I
anything,
loved it.
call me.
Well, whatever.
If you want, send me an email and I'll send you the name of the company and the guy who does it. It's right in Henderson. He's the cheapest and the best quality.
Yeah, I would say, this is, I love it.
So it's 50% cheaper than what we got online.
Oh, wow.
That's the card you get, so
It's all yours.
Yeah, no, yeah, awesome, I will send you.
Honestly,
Perfect, thank
I
you.
think it'd be good if we like just develop some business. I don't want to say relationship because that sounds weird. But business where it's like, hey, if you're out of town, like, I'll help you. Then if I'm out of town, you help me. Just like we did with these.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you're interested in that or not.
yeah, I got you though. Cause, you're the first person I met, so.
Oh, you're exactly the first person I met. So I think we can just probably something if you go out of town or for just whatever. And I think that'd be nice. So we go on vacation with that, like on the phone the whole time, like stressing, like
We will look for it.
yeah. What's that? I don't know. Every time I text or call you, you pick up. So. But yeah, I think that 57 step, that's one we'll be doing the contact today.
Is that the only one?
No, here.
Where you send me the list later on, you know, all the pay.
Okay, yeah. These are the. These are the two that look. A lot. I have to consider a lot. We don't need that, so we can just drive by. And these are the South Shores.
Oh, you never want to use those words. Right by.
Hey.
Something, I felt.
Yeah, you could just send a screenshot of it. I'll look for
Yeah, I pulled up the two MLS numbers for the first week. And I'm just gonna do it. This thing. I think they're all vacant except for the,
First two.
no, just the 57 stone at the,
Just that one.
yeah. At least that's what I was looking at when I was looking at the thing. I don't, I was confused on that last night, you know, cause that like, I don't.
Like, what kind of showing interest, or like, if you could look at it.
Like if it's vacant or not. Cause like, usually it says it's like, hey, you can show tomorrow, that's when I was thinking, it's like, oh, okay, that one's probably vacant. Thank you for giving us your card.
You're welcome.
I definitely need your phone number. I was gonna ask, and that makes it way easier. Yeah. It's gonna be 253. I mean, 253. 2403. 2403. I got all the way down. It's like near the bottom, it says the gate code and stuff.
All right, we're officially ready to go. Is it all set?
We're set.
Alrighty. Reading class, I don't see anybody on Zoom yet.
They show up last
That was simple.
second.
Today, we're doing REVUP number 10, last one in the series, and we're headed back to summer lunch. All right. How many classes have you taken?
This is my last one.
This is your last one? How about you?
This would have been my last one, but I think I missed two during the 10.
Okay, and
It's my last one.
your last one too? Oh, wow. You're gonna find that you're gonna probably end up taking them some of them the second time, because you'll find that you missed a couple things and you have to go back and just review it a little bit, especially the paperwork side of things, if they're taught right. You know, I don't know if you were at my listing one, but I did everything in red. Gave you copies with everything done in
No,
red.
yeah, I like that. I want, but you weren't there on the buyers one. I wish you were.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do, when I teach the classes for the buyers, the ones that add, you know, other than on REVUP, I do the same thing. I do everything in red, because that way you have a hand, something to go to and see
Yeah.
exactly how to fill it out. All right, so let's see what we got here. Module 10, closing the sale, creating clients for life. All right, module 1, get it right up in your goals and planning system. You've all had that. 2, the database. That's a big one. You know, the database is your business. The bigger your database is, the bigger your business is going to be. So that one, if you don't ever do any one a second time, that's one you should. Your 3 is your sales cycle. 4 is the residential RPA. That's the one you're going to use the most. I mean, if you can teach yourself how to put that RPA together quickly, it's only an 11-page form, and all you need is the 11-page form and proof of funds and or proof of mortgage approval, and you can submit any offer you want. So think about all the people that are gonna talk to you. You're gonna probably have very few that wanna put a listing out there, but you know, a lot of people that wanna buy. And if the market gets crazy, or if you got people bidding on a house, you need to be able to put that thing together quickly. That's the one you gotta know quick, and it's simple. Just put it in your head how to do it over and over and over and over, you'll see how simple it really is. So if you need that in red, let me know, even though I didn't teach it, I'll send it to you in red so you have it.
Yeah, I'll
Just send me an email on that.
Yes, sir.
Number 5, working with buyers. Number 6, holding open houses. We all have different ways of holding open houses. I've gone through a series of different types. You know, when I first started in this real estate side of stuff, I did everything with open houses, and I found that I was sitting there babysitting houses. You know, I'd go sit at a house and I'd be sitting there all day long, and maybe 2-4 people would show up, and maybe one of them had their agent with them, and so it was like, what am I doing? I'm babysitting this freaking house and nobody's showing up. So I started reaching out and trying different things, and I started creating events. And I brought a little grill over, and I set it up in the front of the house. Morning. And what I do is I go in a neighborhood a couple days before, and I pass out a flyer saying, come on over for a hot dog. So I have all the neighbors show up, 30-40 people show up at this house for a hot dog and a drink. And I take my sales hat off and just walk around and get to know these people and get them in my database. Never tried to sell them a house, never tried to sell them real estate, never tried to do any of that. Just tried to get to know who they were. And when I found there was a commonality of a subject matter, I'd write it down. And when I tried to contact them, a couple weeks go by, I'd contact them and say, hey, listen, you talked to me about the Golden Knights. I saw an article in the paper. I didn't know if you saw it. They did this, they did that. And they remembered you now because they told you that, and you were smart enough to call them and bring it up to them. So now you're on the friend side of them. You're not threatening them with sales or trying to sell them anything. And so you're just a friend. And you'll be surprised that 2-3 months later, I ended up getting calls saying, hey, 2 streets up, I hear somebody selling their house. They didn't have to call me, but I became a friend. And they knew I wasn't threatening to them, so they used me as the sounding bar. I found out about things before other people did. So that's another way of doing open houses, but it's costing, it may cost you $60 and get some hot dogs, but you're gonna have a whole front row of people there. I mean, you're gonna have 20-30 people there easy all of the time, and you'll get to know the neighbors. And the neighbors can be your gold mine because they can tell you what's going on in that neighborhood. So there's a whole bunch of different ways of doing open houses.
That's actually smart because like hot dogs are actually you can get really cheap hot dogs.
Yeah, it is, and people will come for food and drink. And as long as you don't threaten them and trying to sell them anything, just become their friend. Try to find a commonality. Use the Ford technique. Family. How does your family orchestrate with theirs? Is there some communication in between those families that are the same? F-O, occupation. Is there a job difference or a likeness between you and those people? R, recreation, vacation. In this town, it could be anything. Bands, it could be shows, it could be, places you go on vacation. You'll find a commonality. When you find that commonality, hit the commonality and start talking about that. Because now it takes you from real estate person to friend, and they'll trust you. So, then there was the listing agreement, which I teach. That's a little bit more complex than the RPA, I'll tell you. You really don't want to try to do that. You want to be sitting with your client when you're doing that listing agreement. It's just a little bit more intense. And number 9, winning the listing, and number 10, closing the sale, which we're talking about today. So, Nellie. Good morning, Nellie.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
I've been sick with the flu.
You're sick with the flu?
Yeah, this past
You brought
Wednesday,
it into our class to get us sick?
yeah, that's why I stayed home. And last week, this last Wednesday, I couldn't even join the class. It was really bad.
Okay, well, at least you can learn while you're sick, right?
Yeah, that's the good part.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, how to do a property profile, we didn't understand it. So, what is a property profile? Anybody?
What it is?
Yeah, what is it?
What is, exactly, what it is, what the house is. 3 bedroom, I mean, you just go through the list of all the stuff that.
Why would you want a property profile?
You wanna know what the house has, what it doesn't have, what the taxes are, what.
Okay, and when would you want to order a property profile?
When a seller wants to look at a house? No, when you wanna go do a listing contract.
When you want to go do a listing contract, when you're about to take a listing, before you go take that listing, order a property profile, because a property profile is going to tell you all about that house. And things that you probably didn't know. It may have liens on it. It may be in probate. And you don't know any of that. You're just going in because they said, come on over, we're gonna sell our house. And so you're going in all gung ho, you're gonna write up a listing contract, and guess what? You're gonna get in trouble. You gotta know all about that. So then the next question is, what's the difference between the property profile and the preliminary title report?
Title report, make sure there's no liens or anything like that.
Okay, when is that happening?
What you wanna do as soon as possible.
Just before you go to the person's house.
This is before you go to the person's house.
Okay.
This one will get ordered once you open escrow. Once you open escrow, title will pull up a preliminary title report and they will send it to you. And that's when you get to see all that wonderful stuff that you have to worry about. But the property profile is gonna tell you a whole bunch of stuff about that property. And you need to know all that stuff because you may not want to take that listing after you read all the stuff about that house. So get that done. And all you have to do is call title. Go to Rock Title 2 days before you're gonna go to the listing and they'll pull it together and have it to you in 24 hours. And you'll have a report there all about the property. The boundaries, you can even walk the property to make sure the boundary lines are correct, where the fence is and everything else, because there may be a dispute on the boundary. You don't know. They could have put the fence 2 feet past their property line and the neighbor back there doesn't even know or does know and they're doing this and you're walking into a nightmare. So things like this are important because we don't think about it as, a problem, but there's problems out there that we don't see a lot of times, and it's taking place behind the scenes, and that's one of them. So we order the property profile, we read it, we understand it, we make sure it's okay to go in and take this listing. Now we go in and take the listing, and we open the listing up and get a preliminary title report pulled up by escrow. It's gonna be pulled up. And when you order that, there's gonna possibly be liens all over it. You don't know what kind of liens you're gonna find in there. Some of them can be paid off, some of them can be explained. But some of them may be major liens that you're gonna have to worry about. And you're gonna have to have a real heart-to-heart conversation with the seller of that house as to what do we do to get rid of these things? Because you can't just throw a property on the market that's filled with liens because it's gonna show up when you try to sell it.
So who would you have to talk to about the liens? Is it
Depending on what, the seller, first of all, the seller who has the liens, what are they?
okay?
He or she should know, or they both should know if it's a married couple. Where did they come from? They should know, or they're trying to hide it and they don't know. If they don't know anything and they're all over this report, you got another problem because now they're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
They know about it.
Okay.
Wouldn't you write something to escrow and letting them know these things exist and what they plan on doing about it, or if they're gonna pay it off with the?
I would talk to title and find out how bad these liens and issues are and what's gonna hold up us closing on this property. What can we not move forward with because of this? What do we have to get fixed? Because sometimes you're gonna have to get them fixed to get it closed. So there's a process involved here. And just don't go in and take a listing and say, oh, got that listing. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. and you need to know what could go wrong before you go throwing something up there on the MLS, because someone's gonna put an offer on it and they're buying into all the problems that you never explained to them. Now, they'll probably get it as soon as they open escrow. As soon as a buyer comes in and opens escrow, they're gonna get a copy of this preliminary title report. They're gonna see it. Their agent's gonna see it. And now you're gonna start talking about it. But it's best to know about it before you go in, so you can jump in front and stop be proactive instead of reactive.
Let them know if it's gonna be paid off or not, or.
You always look like a superstar and you're being proactive, letting them know in advance, you're gonna find this, but we're taking care of this type of attitude. Closing disclosure, what's that?
Just everything at the very end, just
Yeah.
all the documents, all that.
You get that from title and basically tells you all the money, where it went,
Where it goes,
where it
who's
goes,
paid it,
who paid it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a breakdown of all of the documents, all the things that have been paid for as you've gone to the closing. It's at the end of the transaction, and explain everything that you have. So you want to review that just to make sure everything is right. Because you're signing off on getting paid, and you're signing off on your customer getting collected or paid based on that. So if there's mistakes on that, you need to pick up on it. For example, you might have gone in and as a seller, you're responsible for making sure the HOA docs are paid for. And so you order those. Sometimes I used to order them. I never liked telling my client to order them. Here, you go into this site and go order your HOA docs. I never liked doing that. I always went and did it myself because I did not want to put any burden on them. I wanted to make sure that they knew I was handling everything and they didn't have to worry about it. No stress, no drama. John's handling everything. And so I would put my credit card on the line and buy these documents. And they charge my credit card. I'd get a receipt from title, and that was put on that closing document as coming back to me at closing. So I got that money back at closing. That's something I want to make sure is on there because I want to make sure I'm getting paid back.
So when you do call up an HOA, that's what they're called, is HOA docs. That's what you would ask for.
Well, HOA is the organization that the docs are referring to, but there's always an organization over above all the HOAs. That's where you go in to find out how much these fees are for these resale packages.
Mhm.
You got two documents you're gonna get, a resale package, and you got the resale package and oh my gosh, come on, John. It's a letter that gets sent to the title company. You never see it. You have to pay for it, but you never see it. It just tells them that it's been ordered, that they can start changing the title of the HOA to the new person. The resale package itself is the whole package of stuff that goes along with that community. All the bylaws and all the everything, profit and loss margins, everything that goes along, the rules and regulations, everything that goes along in the HOA has to be transferred over to the new owner. And they got to put everything in the new owner's name. So there's a fee for all that and giving them a copy of all that. Now, knowing that when you order that, when those documents come in, they come into you. And then it's your job to give it to the agent on the buyer side to get to their client. They have 5 days from the time they sign off on it to look at it and review it. If they don't like something within those 5 days, they can walk away from the whole deal. That's their last out of the whole contract. So it's a big deal. A big deal.
So it's the responsibility of the person who put the house up for sale, the listing agent, to get the HOA docs?
Mhm.
I thought it was,
No, because the buyer is waiting for you to give them information on the house.
I thought the representative of the realtor and buyer would go with.
What happened if the house doesn't close?
So what?
Something happened at the end, what happened if the house doesn't close? What happened to those fees that you already paid for them?
Lost fees.
Did you-
Say that one more time.
Okay, you paid for that HOA paperwork.
Yes, I did
All the
that.
paperwork you paid for it, so because you don't wanna bother the clients, you wanna take over. And what happened at the end, that the property doesn't close?
Doesn't close.
Did you lose that money?
You have, you can hold those documents about 60 days and transfer them to the next person if there's another buyer coming in. After that, you have to redo it all over again, and yes, you will lose that money. But there's a weight there, there's a weight there. The weight is, do I bother my seller and take his credit card?
No.
Or tell him to make him a call and do all this work, or do I just take care of it myself and become a superstar?
Yeah.
So I
And
always
if it's not
wait
used for him, you can use it for the next person who wants to buy it.
for 60 days.
For 60.
So
Would you wait last second to do it, or how?
you can't, because you have to have 5 days
Oh,
before
5
closing.
days, 5 days. Oh,
Yeah. You're supposed to, by law, as soon as it opens escrow, you're supposed to order those documents.
Oh, okay.
Now, supposed to and realistic is two different things. Supposed to is that. Realistic is, I'm gonna wait till after I have my home inspection. Because if they don't like what the home inspector comes back with and they walk away from the deal, I don't wanna have ordered those documents because they've already walked away from the deal in the middle of the deal.
Yeah.
So I always wait till the home inspection's done. If there's nothing major coming up in the home inspection, and they're moving forward, then I order the docs right away.
They're like, what, $200-300?
Yeah, give or take. $150 to $200, that's. But I always did it.
Then it, but also it depends on whatever community, like, for example, like Del Webb, they're gonna be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, there's different prices for different HOAs, there's no question.
Because
about it.
sometimes there's a HOA, then there's another one that combines it where it's actually like 2 HOA fees. I forget what's called, the I something.
Yeah. So, I was always of the mentality, I just never wanted to take the responsibility of somebody else's credit card and ask them, because, you know, it's like Murphy's Law to me, if I take that credit card, something's gonna go wrong with that card and it's gonna come point back at me. And I'll be in the middle of it, and I didn't want to be in the middle of it, so I just took care of it. And prayed to God that I get my money back, and I always did. I never had a problem, not once. We had once or twice where it fell out and somebody else was right behind it, came in and jumped on it. He had no problems. But make sure this is right, this closing disclosure, because you'll find on the charge one side versus the other side, and it was supposed to be the other way around. You've got to know that. You've got to look at that. And if you don't know it, make sure you ask the sales manager or the broker or somebody at your office that can help you through that. Title company.
I've seen quite a few of them on the other side though, as a buyer, but I guess as being a realtor, you might look at something differently than you would as a buyer, so.
All right, so we good there, those three documents?
Yes, sir.
All right. Battery life.
Looks like the battery's good. I see the red dot when you move around with the remote.
Sometimes I just open them up at the back and then move the batteries around a little bit and it works.
No, so I can't do it. Oh, that's so awesome.
What is time of the essence?
Time of the essence,
Time of the essence.
time,
Time of the essence.
what is time of the essence?
Anybody know what time of the essence is?
Get things done as quickly as possible.
What do we get done as quickly as possible?
Huh?
What do we get done as quickly as possible?
Your due diligence, your, anything that comes up, I guess.
The whole process.
Well, what do we go through in a contract that is systematic, it's in steps?
Oh, where you put the dates of how long it takes for every
Contingencies,
where you
yes.
put all the different.
So time is of the essence means basically you're gonna set a time that you need this particular part of the contract completed, the loan approval, the appraisal approval, the types of, the inspection, the due diligence, the HOA docs, they're all target dates that are on a contract. And time is of the essence is because you've got to keep track of that time. If you put on a contract 17 days for loan approval, well, you better be on the calendar watching 17 days. If it gets to day 15 and you don't have loan approval yet, you better get an addendum out there real quick and get that extended. That's on you. On the other side, and if it falls short, guess what? The earnest money deposit that your client put up is now at risk. As soon as you fall short of one of those things without an addendum going in and extending it or getting it canceled or whatever you have to do, you're gonna put your earnest money deposit of your client at risk. So always, time is of the essence. Make sure you're looking at that on a regular basis. You understand what you're doing and what you need to be done. What are the time frames? What's the first one you have to think about?
Due diligence, 10 days.
Okay, we'll start with that one. Due diligence 10. Well, you're gonna ask for 12 days, never take less than 10. Here's my rule of thumb. Ask for 12, never accept less than 10. If they're asking 8, get as far away from that as possible, because guess what has to happen in 8 days? What all has to happen in 8 days? If you accept that 8 days, let's just say they came across and said, we're gonna give you 8 days.
Home appraisal?
No, you have to do the first inspection of the home.
All right, so,
And if it comes back with problems, then you have to have those problems inspected. And then you're limited to a certain amount of days, so those might not. And then if you ask for something to be fixed or repaired, those people may not respond and you might have to extend that,
okay,
something like that.
you're close. You're close. So, here's the deal. Let's just say you had 10 days, not 8, say you had 10. You immediately have to get a hold of the home inspector. And he may be busy, so he may be a day or two out. So you lost a day or two. So now he goes into the house, he does his home inspection, it takes him a whole day. He has to write up a whole report, 156 pages, take pictures, the whole 9 yards, send it to you. Now you have to take that inspection report, to go over it with your buyer and find out the things that you want to get repaired. Now, if it's an A quality home inspector, which you should usually nothing but, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 pages at the end of the report saying, these are the things that you should be concentrating on to get fixed, not these other 145 pages. If you use a B or C home inspector, they're just going to give you a 150-page report, and then you're going to deal with a crazy buyer saying, I want everything fixed, and they want 100 things fixed. No. use a quality home inspector. Now, you got it back, you go through everything with your buyer, and they look at the 2-3 page summary report, we write up a list of things that we want repaired, we send it over to the sales rep on the other side, he has to sit down with the seller to go over this, and they've got to now come back with an answer saying what they're going to do. All has to happen within 10 days. Now, what happens if you send it over to them, it's on day 8, you don't hear anything, it's day 9, you don't hear anything, you call them and say, oh, well, we're looking at it. Day 10 comes, they still haven't responded back to you. Guess what happens?
You either close the escrow or you.
Can't close
ask for
escrow.
Extension, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Addendum.
So here's what you do. Write this down. In the contract, all RPAs, every RPA you write up, back in the, I don't know, page 9 or 11, there's a place to write in if, let me think exactly how to word it.
Wendy
If-
did that yesterday, how she would word it.
Yeah, she took.
To extend, yeah, it would extend the
Yeah.
days that they don't respond.
Right.
To the.
For every day,
Yeah.
for every day past, for every day that the seller does not respond to the buyer's request of repairs, the due diligence or the due diligence timeframe gets extended for 1 day for every day they don't respond.
Right.
So it'll go on forever. They can't not ever catch you and take your earnest money deposit. So due diligence gets extended for every day they don't respond to you. Put that on every contract. Don't write an RPA up without putting that on there. That way it protects your client. Because there's a lot of bad people out there and they're trying to steal your money, your client's money. They put earnest money down, they want that to go live. And that'll stop them from getting their hands on that. So that's one. What's the next contingency?
There's due diligence, then there's loan approval.
Loan approval. How long are we gonna give for loan approval?
18 days.
Okay, let's just say we give them 18 days, okay? 18 days are up and they call you, the lender calls you and says, we got loan approval, we're all set. And you're thinking, we're all set, no problems. Are we?
Depends how seriously the loan approval actually went into the.
It went in and they approved it. They
Let's
called
say-
you and said, you're approved.
Yeah, but there's a difference from like,
Loan approval to something else.
yeah,
Pre-qualified.
no,
Pre-qualified, loan approval is better than pre-qualified, or vice versa.
No, there's no pre-qualifying here. Pre-qualifying means they were pre-qualified to get the loan in advance, but now they've gone through full loan approval on this thing. You're giving them 18 days, and then within 18 days, they got loan approval.
Right,
The
there's
lender
The
called you.
lender still could come back and ask a bunch of questions, and if the person buying the home or getting the loan doesn't have all the correct paperwork or information that they need, then they can close, even after loan approval, they could.
or
They don't need paperwork. If they give you loan approval, they don't need paperwork.
Okay.
They've got everything they need for loan approval, but are they really loan approved?
No.
Why?
The things that come up,
What comes up?
they could have bought a car and all
Ah!
of a sudden your
Guess
numbers all
what?
change.
18th day, they said, you got loan approval, you got your loan. And then you, who were supposed to be babysitting those crazy clients of yours, you didn't, and they went out and bought furniture and a car and got a new credit card. And guess what? They come to the closing table the day of closing, and the title company and the lender are gonna go and pull their credit one more time. And guess what? It changed.
Yeah.
And guess what falls apart? Everything. So, time is of the essence, babysit. You have to be babysitters of these people. These people are crazy. They will take you down. They'll show up in a new car. Not even thinking that someone's gonna pull their credit after they got loan approval. So your job is to make sure they don't do anything but hamburgers and hot dogs till that thing closes. Don't buy anything. And then after it closes, you can do whatever you want. So that's number two. What's now? Now, what else do we have to worry about?
For the loan approval, what's like the time frame that you're aiming for?
I tried to shoot for 17, 18 days, but it doesn't matter. It could fall apart at closing. You get approval in 18 days and you think it's done, but you don't take into consideration that they're gonna pull their credit one more time.
What's that phase called that once you hit that phase, they either have to sign off on the money, the earnest deposit? There's a certain amount of days you have, and then you can continue to go forward. For a deposit.
Well,
Is that one of them?
all of these are those. Any of these here that we're talking about, you can lose your earnest money deposit if you're not following up. So the first one,
The contract that I signed earlier this year, it stated that after X amount of days, if I decided to go forward, even if my loan fell off, I think I would have lost my due diligence too. My earnest money. I was just, so maybe it's something my realtor was telling me to hurry up and sign. I had to sign for it.
I didn't see what it was. It's hard for me to
Yeah,
relate to what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But there's number three now. We're on number three. What is number three? We did due diligence. We did loan. Now what do we have?
closing? No. Close within 30 to
It's a
45 days.
contingency. It's a contingency.
We're relying on you over there.
I'm trying to remember, I actually went over them yesterday.
Don't call Wendy.
No. I know there's one that, I think it's the last one that you said.
We did inspection, right?
What's that?
We did inspection already.
No.
I know there's one that you write on the contract saying that you should have everything done within 30 or 45 days, whatever you put.
Well, that's the loan. The loan.
No, no.
But something goes along with the loan. So now what? Appraisal, appraisal, appraisal. 17 days on appraisal. So here's another clause that you write into your contracts. If my buyer's offer is more than the appraised value of the house, the buyer and the seller have the option to renegotiate the contract.
If my
buyer's offer is higher than the appraised value on the house when it comes in. My buyer offers $500,000 on the house. The appraised value of the house comes in at $480,000. So there's a $20,000 spread. So I am over the appraised value. If that happens, then I'm saying the buyer and the seller have the option to renegotiate the contract. What does that mean?
So they can decide, they either side can talk about, hey, I wanna raise the price of the house or lower the price of the house.
So basically, yeah, I mean, go ahead, sorry.
No, I wanna
I
hear,
had something
what
in
you
my
guys
head.
saying, I wanna hear everyone's opinion on this, because there's a magic in here.
So basically, you don't lose your money if that you can't come to if it's not the same, if it doesn't appraise for what they were asking for, then you could back out of the deal if you want, so you don't lose your earnest money.
Is that what you
No.
heard?
No, well, I'm just saying that you have that option at the end,
What did you say?
you have the option,
You have the option.
you have lots of
Do
options.
you know how many people will read that sentence? Read that exact sentence I just gave you and say, C, will renegotiate the contract. They will not have the option to. And they'll come back at you and say, all right, I see that the appraised value is less than things, so let's renegotiate the offer. No. I said, what do you mean no? I said, well, we had the option to, and our option is not to do that. Magic words. Have the option. It's your option. If you don't want to do it now, you're out. And they can't do shit about it. Magic words to protect your client. Just like before in the due diligence. Protect your client at all costs. These are magic clauses that will protect your client. And those idiot agents on the other side that aren't smart enough to realize and read things fast, they always see, we'll renegotiate the contract. And that's not what we're doing. We're going to renegotiate the contract, but we have the option to do it only. You don't have to. So that's the way you get around that. So that's 3 now. We got loan, we got due diligence, we've got appraisal. Now what else do we have? We talked about it already. Huh?
The inspection was done in the beginning, so, yeah.
That's part of the due diligence.
Yeah, the closing disclosure forms.
No, we're getting close. Talked about it in depth, actually. Huh?
The titles.
Nope. HOA. You're 5 days to get out of the contract. These are dates that you can get out of a contract. Established timelines that can be put in a contract that you have.
But you should have that done way in the beginning of the process.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wait till the 18th or 9th. I mean, that's something I get to my customer if I can do it in 3 or 4 days.
So,
And that way I could.
wouldn't you want that to be their last way of getting out of it instead of their first way of getting out of it? Because if you do it right away, they're gonna get that HOA package and they're gonna look at it in 5 days and that's gone. Now you still have 20 days.
That way, then you're protecting your customer.
You get 20 days left before closing and you have no way of getting out of the contract now. That's why I wait till after inspection to order that HOA doc. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's what I do. Only because I'm trying to protect the client. If I do it real quick, it's gonna come in quick and then I'm sitting with no way out. I want outs.
And you said 5 days for that?
5 days once they get it in their
And
hand.
they have to sign off on it.
5 days once again.
And if they see something on the HOA, things that they don't like, you can't park in the street, et cetera, then they can always back out of the deal if they want to, and they get to keep their earnest money. I think.
The buyer, right?
Yeah.
The buyer gets right there.
Yes, they can, for any reason, they don't like the HOA docs, they can get out of it, they can make up anything. So, there are the outs. So, due diligence timeframes, they're all the contingency removals. You gotta get rid of all those things before you can close. And again, the last one is sitting at the closing table and having idiot clients that you didn't watch. And all of a sudden you're sitting there ready to sign and they walk in and say, we just pulled your credit. this party's over. And then you're sitting there looking like an idiot because
You
it's
didn't
kind of
miss
your
it.
fault.
You're ridiculous.
That's happened. I've seen it bunch of times. So, all right, communication and follow-up. So, don't assume, we all do this. I mean, it's just human nature. We assume how we are, so we make assumptions on how we want to be communicated with. Like if we're doing something, we know, we're dealing with something. I don't want to be bothered every day or every week. Call me every 2 weeks or something. So that's you. But that's not everybody. So your assumption can't be you. Your assumption has to be what the client wants. So you have to ask the question, how do you want to be communicated with? Is it every day? Is it once a week? Is it once every 2 weeks?
Email, text.
There you go. Now we're coming back and flip it all the way around and say, okay, we got that down. So now is it email? Is it text? Do I call you? How do you want all this to be taking place? Because if you do it your way and it's not the way they like, you're going to have pissed off clients. You want to do everything to make them happy and keep stress and drama out of their life. The pending path is so stressful. That's where we earn all our money. Every piece of penny that you make on a sale is earned right here. And if you don't understand that that's got to be kept as far away from your client as humanly possible, if you get them involved in that shit, they're going to be just like this. And they're going to think not too much of you because you're not handling things. You have to bring them in every time something goes wrong. If you're handling things and you're going through all this shit, that's okay. They don't see that. They just know things are being handled and they don't know anything that you're going through, the stress and drama of your life, but that's your job. And it's to hide it from them so they don't think anything's going on bad. But it can be the most, when I know people, when they finish a closing, they're just ready to get drunk and pass out because they're so stressed out. That's how hard it was. Because usually it's because of the agent on the other side of the fence. He's a complete idiot. Which goes back, let me throw this in here for a little kicker. To help yourself and to help the company, if you have a transaction with a client from another side, the other side, and it goes smoother than silk. They work with you, they're always there to help, they do everything they're supposed to, they even do more than they're supposed to, and you get it closed and everybody's happy and you walk away. I want their names and I want to be interviewing them the next week. Tell me who they are. They're the people I want to know. Now, 99% of the time, it's going to be the complete opposite. You're never going to want to see those people again because they were assholes and they treated you like shit and you went through a lot of stress and drama for no reason because they didn't know what they were doing. They kept saying they were right and you know they were wrong because you were taught the right way. We don't want to know who they are. So that's how we get good agents in here. Referrals from you guys telling us that, hey, I just had a transaction with Superstar. That's what I want to know. Let's bring them in, talk to them. Because let me tell you, if Mark or myself get in front of these guys and talk to them, they'll be here. They'll be joining us. Because we're really good at recruiting and bringing them in. This is a good company. Has a lot of perks to it. And good people really strive in a company full of perks. So, all right. So we're good there? We understand all that now?
For today, tomorrow, no.
I don't trust this thing. I think it's working.
I just have to walk through this really feel.
I'm stressed out about it.
Well, when you start doing these transactions, you need to get your manager involved at questions because the first time you do it, first, second, third, fourth, fifth time you do it, it's going to be a little Greek to you. And then all of a sudden it's going to start getting easy because you're understanding it. Now there'll be some wrenches thrown in here and there, but for the most part, it's the sequence, just a little bit different twist to it. And different people, different personalities you're dealing with. That's the biggest thing, challenge you have, the personalities.
There's a lot more to it than I ever even imagined. Looking before you're a realtor, thinking, oh yeah,
I will tell you,
there's so much more than you can imagine.
you talk to me in 6 months, I bet you won't say
Okay, hope.
that. Seriously, because this job is like elementary school.
Okay.
I'm being
Good
honest
to
with you.
know. No, it's good to know this.
It's-
I gave myself a year.
If somebody walked in here right now and said, I want to buy a house, and I know which one it is, it's 123 Main Street, and I pull it up, I'd have that document written in 10 minutes and ready to submit it. That's how simple it is. And you're looking at it right now, I go, oh my God, I got drivers in, it's not that hard.
No, but when you add social media and this and everyone's, all the
Well, you're
different
talking about
stuff,
marketing stuff now.
everything combined, you guys have thrown everything at us at the same
Well, we
time.
have to,
Yeah,
but you're only
and
gonna,
I'm not complaining.
so
I'm just saying you look at it and you go, whoa.
here's the world of social media and marketing, and you're gonna look at all of those different aspects of how you do things and what you can do, and you're gonna say, well, gee, this one I like, this one I really hate. I'll tell you, I hate cold calling. You would never catch me picking up the phone and cold calling people and get people slamming the phone in my ear. I'm not doing that. Or calling me all kind of names and slamming the phone in my ear. I'm not doing that. I don't like door knocking, but I will door knock if I'm doing an open house and I'm doing hot dogs in the front yard because I want all those neighbors to come over for a hot dog. That's the only time I'll door knock. I don't like to door knock and I don't like to cold call. I don't like to send farm. I'll farm an area, but I'll just do it by walking the streets and talking to people. I will not send postcards because you know what? You have to send 6, 7 times before they'll even start recognizing who the hell you are. That's gonna cost you thousands of dollars before they even know what your name is. They just throw it right in the garbage can. So why would you do that? I mean, there's people that are gonna try to convince you to do that, but I'm telling you honestly, that's not a good way to, you know what I grew up with? I grew up with handling rentals and babysitting the rentals, making sure that every week or 2 weeks I said hi to them or send them an email or drop something nice off to them or something, and then got them in a house after 6, 8 months, after their year was coming up for their rental. I did 70 of those. And 70 of those, some of them I bought 2 or 3 houses from me now. That's how I started. And then I started doing open houses. Then I started realizing I'm not babysitting these houses anymore. I started doing events and started doing all kind of crazy stuff to get people in and started being very successful at that. I concentrated on 3 things in my marketing. 3 things only. 1, I come from corporate. I got relocated across the country 9 times. So corporate relocation, I knew inside and outside. I was part of it. They corporate relocated me. I knew what I went through. So when I heard corporate relocation, I could help anybody through because I went through it. So by the time there was a corporate relocation, my hand was up. I was there. They're never going to leave you. They're going to stay with you because they don't know what they're doing and they need help. 2, I'm military. I concentrated on military. I know the military acronyms. I can talk military. I took care of military relocation. They never going to leave you. They're always going to trust you. 3, age-restricted communities. They couldn't even turn on their computers. Once you start working with them and helping them, they're not going to leave you. I never had to sign a buyer's broker agreement to any of those people because they're never going to leave me. And I built my whole business out of that. Now understand your world today is different. You've got millennials that's shiny over there. They're going to go to the shiny, and so you got to lock them in with the buyer's broker agreement thing. But I didn't have to. It's all what you go after. I didn't send postcards. I didn't knock on doors. I didn't cold call. I did what I knew. And what I knew was successful for me. There's a lady in our office in Green Valley. Her name's Erica Lee. She came to me after with us a year, and she was about to quit. She was talking like you.
Yeah, I won't, yeah,
No, you're not going to quit, but like you said, a year from now.
yeah, it should be easy or it's not.
Well, she was having a tough time at 6 months, having a tough time. So I got her some social media classes and she took them and she came back to me and said, you know, I really like the YouTube class that I took and I'm going to try YouTube. I don't know anything about YouTube, so I really can't say good or bad or indifferent. You know, I'm not that big in social media myself. So she took this YouTube class and she built a YouTube channel. They taught her how to do that. So now she has a YouTube channel, and what is she gonna do with it? Well, she went out to models, all the different models throughout the valley. Went in, asked them if she could take pictures, and she take pictures of the models and she posted them on her YouTube channel. Never telling you where the model was, never telling you who the builder was, just telling you, look at the model pictures, and here's my name, and here's my picture. Call me if you're interested in seeing any of these. It took her 3 months before people started going on her site and looking at her pictures. And they started calling her up and saying, can you show me this one? Can you show me this one? Last year, she did 33 transactions strictly on YouTube, and 3 of them were over $1 million. She got Blue Huron to let her go in and take pictures. And people called her. And she went and showed the town houses and sold 3 Blue Huron houses. $1 million houses. That's all she does. That whole list of things you can do, that's the only thing she does is YouTube. Literally, the only thing she does. And she sold 33 transactions last year. She made a couple $1 million. 1 year. So
Great year.
find your niche.
Yeah.
Find what works for you. Don't let people push you into things. Go where your comfort level is. And don't spend a lot of money if you don't have to. You know, this can run you a lot of money if you start going into all these different marketing and social media things. Pick and choose and make sure you have someone guiding you down that path, because it's expensive. All right, creating clients for life. I'm gonna have to use this thing here, I guess. Oh, affirmation. I know my strengths and what my new thing. This is so fun. I love delegating the busy work to those who are better at it than I am. You know, this is made for this particular class. Affirmations to me are, you should use an affirmation that is
Cater to yourself.
tailored to your whole life. I have a book of affirmations. It's in PDF format. If you ever want it to look through it, and I'd be happy to send you a copy of it. Just send me an email and I make a copy and send it over to you. But you'll find an affirmation in there that works for you. I think this works for this class. I don't think this works for me in my life. That's just my opinion. Running the sale, okay. All right, property profile, we talked about it. We order it, we read it. We want to make sure the owner's names are on there correctly. First thing you're looking for, because you know what you find? Call, and it's Mary Smith. Mary Smith will say, hey, I'm selling my house. I want you to come over and give me a listing presentation. And so you order property profile. And when you get the property profile, Mary Smith's not even on title. Bob Smith and Aaron Smith are on it, but not Mary Smith.
She got married.
Well, Bob Smith died. Aaron Smith died. So now she's selling the house. You need to know that stuff because you've got probate deals going on here. And she's now trying to sell the house. So you got to know all that stuff. She's not on the deed. Looking for liens, the legal description of the property. Like I said, there's property lines, and sometimes
Are those on here? No.
Yes.
oh, wait a minute.
That,
The slides won't be on there.
oh, okay.
It'll give you the descriptions of this, of what we're talking about, but not the slides. Boundaries, inspection of them, and you can walk them, make sure, if you're not sure, walk the boundary lines that you're given on the property profile, so you know that the neighbor's not trying to put a fence to feed into your property and stuff. You don't want to get dealing with that crap. Closing document is standard form in the US. Everybody uses it. Itemized services and fees charged to the buyer and seller. We talked about this a little bit. The escrow officer, attorney will review in our business, you know, depending on the state, you're gonna find states that attorneys are always gonna be used. In our state, we don't use attorneys, we use escrow officers. Fees and credits to both buyers and sellers on the same form. That's how we do it here. It'll show a breakdown of the buyers and the sellers. One column, two column. Opening escrow. So, when you open escrow, you're gonna get a lot of people asking you to do certain things. And the one thing I'm gonna tell you, and just to protect your ass, don't let anybody email or text you any instructions and have you send that to your clients for put money into escrow, opening escrow. You call the escrow company yourself. You talk to the escrow officer, have them tell you how to open escrow if your client has to wire the money in, how they have to do that. Don't take emails, don't take texts, don't take messages, talk to the escrow officer. That's the only way you're gonna be safe. I've seen people send $250,000 and have it disappear. Ooh. Because they just thought they were dealing with the right people and they weren't. So here's our, we talked about all these. If the seller has not accepted by this date and time, the offer has expired. Well, that's, you put the offer out there and they don't accept it, well, then it goes by. So what happens if you put an offer out there on a house and nobody responds to you? And you gave them till noon today, and noon today come and goes. It's 5 o'clock today.
They said your deal sucked.
Hmm?
They said that your deal sucked and it was not even good enough where they didn't even want to respond. And so.
Okay, so let's just say that happens. So now at 7 o'clock tonight, you receive a phone call.
After it expired?
Expired, according to the paperwork, expired at noon. You wanted an answer by noon. So, but 7 o'clock tonight, you get a call from the agent say, hey, my clients were up in the hills camping. They just came down and saw the offer and they're accepting it.
Yeah, you have to make a new one.
What are we doing?
New offer.
New offer, she says new offer.
An addendum.
She says addendum. Addendum? Addendum. You can, with an addendum, bring up that contract after it's expired. Yes, by just changing the time frame on it. That happens actually. Clients are up in the hills, can't get their messages, come down, messages pop in their thing. Oh yeah, I got an offer. Oh, it's good. Oh, I like that. Let's accept it. Whoa. So it's not within the time frame of what you asked, but there was reasons for it. Now, people who don't and saw it, that's a whole different story. You don't have to do it. You can reject it and say, well, I gave you till 12. I'm putting it house now. All right, so we have loan approval. We talked about that. Earnest money deposit. So is the earnest money deposit carved in granite? No. What is it? It's negotiable. Especially if it's a VA loan. If it's a VA loan, they're not allowed to put a lot of money on earnest money. So they could put $1,000 on it. They're gonna get it back too. So you don't have to ever worry that they're only putting $1,000 on it. Now, let's suppose you have 4 offers on a house, okay? And you're asking for $5,000 earnest money deposit, all right? First offer comes in, $5,000 earnest money. Meets most of the stuff that you asked for. Second offer comes in, $5,000. And this didn't make all of the criteria you asked for. Third offer comes in at $20,000 and gives you most of the stuff that you asked for. And the fourth offer comes in at $5,000 earnest money and most of the stuff you asked for. Which one do you go with?
20K.
Why?
Because they're more serious. That's why they put more money
They
down.
really want the property.
More skin in the game. They have more to lose. They won't be throwing that kind of money up there because of all the things that could go wrong. And I just showed you through all the things that can go wrong real quick. They're throwing $20,000 up there, and it just takes one mistake by their agent to have that money go live, and they lose it. So there's more pressure on the agent now to protect that money. Inspections we talked about. Repair requests. You gotta make sure you deal with A quality vendors. Please don't go to B and C's because
How do you know? I mean, there's a lot of them, so how do you know there's an A to a B? A home is-
ask your broker. Yeah, I can give you A quality, you know, I know they're gonna give you a 2-3 page report in the back saying, these are the things that you should be concerned with. All the other shit are 3, 4, 5, 10-year maintenance things. So you don't want them writing up all that crap, because that'll just destroy the whole offer. And it starts making them stressed, they think the house is falling apart. You wanna concentrate on the things that are just really pertinent, you know, there's a leak under the sink. Toilet upstairs doesn't work. Light fixtures are broken in the garage. You know, major things you want to get fixed. Washer,
Room air conditioners.
yeah, you know, things like that. So that's the roof shingles are falling off and you need to get fixed. You know, things like that are going to be major things that they're going to be looking for. You can move into a house with minor things that can be fixed by a handyman over the course of time. You don't need that to close on a house. People get crazy when they're trying to buy a house. They think they need all that stuff done. You gotta take them down a level and make them back to reality. Physical deadline, request agreements, other contingencies, we talked about all that, closing, possession. Let's suppose you're scheduled to close on a Friday. And you go in the closing room Friday, sign all the documents. So now it gets put in a queue. Documents get put in a queue. Once you sign everything, it gets put in a queue. So it works its way up until it's there. Yeah, that side comes up and that turn and goes in. Is it safe?
Depends on what time you sign the docs and what position you're in.
Let's suppose you sign the docs at 9 o'clock in the morning and you told your buyers, yeah, we're gonna close today and you can move in tomorrow. I'll have keys, you can move in tomorrow.
It depends on how many stuff is in front of you.
Okay, so what do you tell your buyers?
If it doesn't close on Friday, it'll close on Monday.
And so they just ordered a moving van. Deliver your stuff on Saturday.
I'm not gonna tell them to do anything until we do the final table and everything's complete.
Well, I'll let them know also that don't do anything until it actually closes.
Please do that. Yeah. You don't know how many people make assumptions that it's gonna get recorded. And they have a moving van sitting there the next day. And now you got a whole shitload of stuff coming at you from the other side that you don't want. Because they are paying for a moving van to sit there till Monday. And guess who they're pissed at? So don't put yourself like in those spots. Close it on Wednesday or Thursday. Then you don't have to worry about it. Never close on a Friday. All right, so a lot of times you're gonna get people who want you to remove certain contingencies from the contract. People who have cash. You're gonna pay cash for the house. I'm gonna ask you to remove the contingency of an appraisal. They don't want to pay for an appraisal. They don't care. They're buying that house. Here's the cash. You ask for 500,000, here's 500,000. They can go away. Do that. So understand that that could happen. People don't even care about due diligence or
due diligence or anything.
yeah. Bring cash, just get out. They're stupid if they don't do a due diligence inspection because who knows if they did, some person who was in that house before didn't take a bag of cement and dump it down the toilet. Extreme example, but I mean, you don't know.
You never know what's gonna happen. There's all kinds of
Back in the short sale days, people did that all the time. They left their houses, the foreclosures, before they left, they dumped cement in toilets. So the whole plumbing, no floor had to be ripped up and the whole plumbing system had to be redone.
I looked at a lot of them back in the day. Pulled up copper pipes, they did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I walked in the house one day. I didn't know which room in the house was the kitchen. You couldn't tell. Literally, it looked like a living room. Everything was gone. I mean, like they put the board up all the way around in the kitchen, hit the appliance, the white pipes coming up and everything. You couldn't tell. It was amazing. So anticipate what should be happening right now. We talked about it. If it has to be delayed, make sure you write addendums for it. What might go wrong? Always think of the things that can go wrong. It's always Murphy's Law. If it can, it will. And if you can avoid it, just make sure you know how to avoid it, right? Is it cold in here? Is it me?
No,
It's definitely.
it's just right, it's just hitting me direct, that's all.
I'm getting shooters in here. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I'm wearing a jacket. I'm look. Sure.
I took that off because I was warmer to get. All right, what action is needed right now? Lender's request. Lender's gonna ask you for a lot of things during the loan approval timeframe, and make sure that your clients are giving them what they need. Several disclosures late or missing. Anytime there's disclosures involved, we give disclosures on everything that we do because we have title companies and we have a lender that works with us. So we have disclosures that say, hey, listen, we own title, great company, we'd love for you to use them. We're going to give you 30% discount, but you don't have to sign here. You don't have to. We'd love for you to, you don't have to. So make sure you explain disclosures. Cuba would love for you to make sure you're using our people, but you can't force people to do that. It's it's called steering, and honestly, you can get around that any way you want to get around it. In school, psych course, you took a piece of paper, your client's sitting here, and said, okay, here's 3 title companies. They're all Class A title companies, and you can choose whatever one you want to choose. So which one would you like to choose? And automatically, they're going to pick wherever your hand is the closest to. every time. Try it at home with somebody. You can do it with an inspection, you can do it with anything you want, so really steering, you can steer them to do anything you want them to do.
Quick question, does Rock Title give your customers a discount because you're with Realty One?
They give you
And
discount.
can you say that?
They, if you put it in your, if it's in the listing itself, they give a discount to both sides. But if you're on the buying side, you can get a 30% discount, and you can convince them to give a discount to the other side. Just talk to them. They will. But you can get people to do whatever you want by just pointing your hand.
Well, then what, like, for example, if they ask, hey, who would you recommend, then would that still be
No,
considered?
they're asking the question.
Okay.
Well, and you would send them, they asked me about home inspection, I'm gonna tell them right away, I'm going to my guy, because I know what he does is the best in town, and I never, ever had a problem, so.
Okay.
And he'll come in and actually sit with them and go over the home inspection.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, like, who does that?
Would you send it to that guy, just if we ask for it? Will we email you?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
His name is Greg Platt from Accomplished Home Inspections. Platt, P-L-A-P-P. Accomplished Home Inspections. He used to be a general contractor, and he's the best I've ever dealt with.
Great black from.
Platt.
Platt.
Accomplished Home Inspections. Oh my God, that thing turned off. It's cold. Deadlines missed, we talked about that, items renegotiated at the last minute. You know, don't put any offers that you do on an RPA, I would always make sure you put down appliances or lighting fixtures or things like that that you want on the offer, but don't put furniture in there. Furniture you should put on an addendum. Keep it separate from the main contract. And if you're selling a house, these people have, family heirloom lights above the dining room table, and they have up their beautiful lights. And so they'll just write in the contract, this does not go with the house. Doesn't matter what they write. As soon as you walk in the house with your wife's gonna see that light, and she's gonna focus on that light the whole time you're walking through that house.
Mhm.
And when you get to the contract, she wants to write a contract, she's gonna want that light. That's what she sees, that's what she fell in love with, and so take it down. You can't get around that. It happens all of the time, so take the damn thing down and put something cheap up there and get rid of the problem, because it's gonna be a problem, guaranteed. I've seen it 100 times. So sellers tend to do stupid things. I saw a seller, they were artistic people. So their whole house was done things they made, and a lot of the lighting fixtures in the house were cool things that they made. So they decided they were gonna sell the house, and while they had it all decorated, they took the pictures of the house and then took everything down and put it on the market. And they used the pictures they took before as part of the house. So somebody came into the house, nothing was up. They didn't see any lighting fixtures or anything up. And they put an offer on the house because they loved the house, and they got the house, and they're going through the process of purchasing the house. And she happened to go back to the pictures and notice that, where are all these lights? In pictures that they use with the lights. that got into a big legal battle. And she got the lights. Because she bought the house, she claimed she bought the house because of the lights, but she bought the house, when she walked in the house, those lights weren't there, she bought the house. She didn't see that till after the fact. But you can see how quickly that can turn on you. So you gotta really be careful with people. All right. So when you're doing all these phases, you know, you gotta be confident in what you're doing, and you gotta understand all of these different phases and understand that these are things that are your responsibility, and make sure your client's protected. There's time frames. So the essence means there's time frames that you have got to protect your client on. You got to be smart, and you got to educate your clients as to what's going on. You don't want to tell them the bad things that are going on because you're handling that stress. Don't ever bring them into that. I mean, sometimes you have to. I'm not telling you you're ever going to get through this without some damage, because sometimes you just have to bring them into the situation that's going on because you don't have the answers and they have to be the ones making the decision. So sometimes you have to bring them in, but be smart enough to try to handle it yourself and keep them out of it. They will tell everybody they know about you if this thing goes through smooth and they get that house and they loved everything you just did. They're going to tell all of their friends and family about you, and so you can get a lot of clients. That's why you do it this way. The minute you start bringing them in, it gets a little nasty. And all of a sudden, you're dirt. You know, you couldn't handle it, and so you don't get the same thing. Dedication. Well, the dedication that they're going to give back to you is to you, and positive attitude. Always be positive around them. I mean, you might be in the back of your head saying, "Oh my God, all this shit's going on." Be positive. Don't let them see any of that. This is a world that we live in with this real estate stuff, that it's all about forming a relationship with the client. That they don't look at you as a realtor anymore. They look at you as a friend. And if they do that and they trust you now, they're going to do everything for you. And that's what you want. That's how you build your database. By doing great things and becoming friends with these people and having them tell everybody about you. It's not about how good you are as a realtor. It's about how good you are at relating to them. This is a simple business, man. It really is. If it was hard, I would tell you. I've done a lot of harder things in my life than this. I mean, to make $500,000 in money in this business is pretty simple without doing a lot of work if you're smart. You don't have to spend a lot of social media money. You just gotta be smart, figure it out. There's niches, grab the niches. And find the places where you are low fruit hanging. All right, we talked about communication. It's funny how we missed all this. It must have been the freedom at the beginning of this thing. Call, text, email, find out what they want to do, how you want to communicate with them. Who does this? Transaction coordinator. You know what? You guys do what you want. I am not a big person on transaction coordinators. I did every piece of paper myself my whole career. I know it's busy work. A lot of people don't like to do busy work, and you hire them for $100 or whatever they charge, and you don't have to think about doing paperwork. But you become a better person if you know what you're doing. If you're filling that paperwork out and you understand it, if somebody asks you a question, you know. If you have to say, well, let me call my transaction coordinator, you look stupid. That's your file. You should know it. Vendors never. Don't let the vendors be, except your home inspector. I mean, I love the fact the home inspector will sit down with the client and go over that home inspection and what he thinks. That makes a big difference. All right, so the problem with, we are creatures of habit. And people who jump into this business, they see the money and they see the opportunity. And once they close something, they're just looking for the next payday. And they're forgetting the reason people become successful realtors are because they keep building their clientele base up and that client. And, you know, if you have a top producer in Green Valley probably has 1,000 to 1,200 people in their database. And probably 900 of those people will never buy a house or sell a house for them. They're just people that know them and like them. That small portion that have bought or sold are part of the circle, but there's a big portion that aren't. But if you put all of those people, those 1,200 people on a football field, and said, send somebody out there and said, I got a house to sell, they'll all point right at you. They're all your supporters. So you've got to understand that you've got to have a mix of people in that database. People that'll never buy and sell from you, but love you, your friends, your high school friends or whatever, they'll say, oh yeah, I know who to get, and they're gonna call you. And the people that you've sold and bought to, who are gonna tell other people about you and make it bigger and bigger and bigger. The top producer has about 1,200 people in their database. So this is a result of people that don't do databases. They make a sale, get their check, now they're searching for another client. Don't be that person. If you make a sale, they go in your database and you be communicating with them once a month at least. Hey, how things going? Where are you going on vacation this year? How are the kids? Whatever. Send them an anniversary card, a birthday card. Stay in touch with them. Christmas card. They're going to continue to tell people about you. If you do that, if you do this, you're going to be sitting here next year this time saying, I have no clients. You got to build it up. You got to build your database. The database feeds you. Once it gets to be 1,200, you don't have to do anything anymore. The phone just keeps ringing. You just keep calling people and saying, hi, how are you? How things are? How's the family? That's all you keep doing. Have your database keep sending them something once a month, a monthly letter or something from you. A happy birthday wish, an anniversary thing. They know you because you keep sending things to them and the phone just keeps ringing to you. But you got to build it up. That's how top producers work. They don't go out and start buying leads. They're not sending, farming cards and stuff like that. They're not knocking on doors. That's how you start. Find stuff that works for you. You may love knocking on doors. David Caldwell, in the Caldwell group, he's a door knocker. He grew up door knocking, and he loves that. That's not for me. I don't want no door slammed in my face or somebody letting their dog out on me. I found that what worked for me. It worked for me, and I was successful at it. So, set yourself apart. Watch referrals come in year after year. That's what the database is all about. If you know some top producers, ask them how many people are in their database, and you'll be surprised. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because they keep feeding it. Means every day you got to make calls, every day you got to make emails, every day you got to make texts to people that are in the database. You're continuing to communicate with people in your database, not to buy something, just keeping in touch with them. But as soon as something real estate related comes up, they're feeding you back because they know you keep in touch with them and they know you as the top real estate person. That's why they feed you. So that's what you got to understand. It's a give and take. Staying in touch is easy if you have a plan, stick to it. To say you're going to do all those texts and emails and calls every day, you got to block time to do that. If you don't block your calendar to do that, you'll never do it. You just won't. My calendar is all color coded and literally every hour of every day is blocked out. for what I do. So that's how I survive, because I'm teaching classes and doing this and doing that. I've got to keep organized that way, and so that's what you got to keep doing. It's very easy to stay home and watch, Oprah or sports on TV and not do any of that stuff after you sell a couple houses. It's not going to get you anywhere either. You must be consistent in completing all the activities in your after-sale action plan. That's you're at, yeah. Clients are lucky to have you as an agent, maybe. Do it right. They want to refer their friends and family and coworkers to you, they will. They are unaccustomed to your level of care and consistency. Most agents, 75% of all agents do not communicate with people after they sell the house. I'm still dealing with people I sold the first house to 20 years ago. I still keep in touch with them. When they send me stuff or have people call me, I use that as a training exercise for you guys. I'll go out, but bring you guys in and let you guys do the work. So, we're not allowed to do that. All right, so this is what they call as the follow-up. You can mix and match this any way you want, but they're saying an effective follow-up after you close somebody is 4 calls, text, or visits, 12 printed and mailed newsletters. Well, that's easy. You can set your CRM up to send a calendar out or a newsletter out to them every month. That's easy. 12 electronic market updates, that's easy too. You can set your CRM to do that for you. 1 birthday card, you can do that electronically. If you know their birthday, make sure you find that out. A holiday card, an anniversary card, something on social media. This is not hard stuff to do, and your CRM will do most of it for you. All you have to do is set it up once, and it does it all for you. You just tell it everybody, and it sends everybody, same thing. Learn your CRM. Learn how to work that CRM. It'll make your life simple for you because it does all the work. You don't have to do it. I used to, what do they call them? Stop bys. They're just little trinkets. You can buy them. They're only like 10 cents a piece. And I'd stop by a house. I was driving past a house, and I was the person I dealt with, and I'd go up and I'd sit by their door with my card on it, with their holding it, and I take a picture of it, leave it by their door, and then I send a picture to the client saying, I stopped by your house today and left you a little present. I was thinking of you. 10 cents. And they thought that was like I just gave them a car because I cared. Something that's stupid and simple means a lot to people. So you got to be that person. All right. So now we're going to questions. What do you have questions about any of this? I've been doing this 20 years, so you can ask me anything. Good, bad, and different. What don't you understand that I talked about today?
I think you actually did really good. I mean, the only thing I would, I know I'm gonna send you an email for the RPA and then the listing agreement, just because you have the digital copies for the red marks.
The red marks on them, yeah.
And I think that'd be great to just have for a reference for when I do those things, I could just look at it and just make the whole process easier for me.
The RPA is the one you want to memorize right away. You've got to get that down so you can pull that out just like that and understand it. Because it should only take you a couple of minutes. Someone should only have a couple of minutes to make an offer, or someone else is going to buy it from you. So you got to get it in and know how to get that done quickly, get it signed, get proof of funds, and send it. You don't need any other paperwork signed. All the other paperwork can be signed later. The only thing you need to get on an offer is that RPA. That's all you need. Now, listing agreement is a whole different story. You know, you're doing SRPDs and all kind of fun things. And you need to be sitting with your client on an SRPD, you know, a listing agreement rather. You need to be sitting, preferably at their house, and going through things, because they're not gonna know things. They're gonna lie to you. They're not gonna lie to you purposely. They're gonna lie because they don't know. You're gonna, you know, as part of the listing agreement, you're gonna ask them, how much is your HOA a month? And they're gonna give you a number, and it's wrong. They don't know. And so then you say, well, do you pay that once a quarter or once a month, or, and then they're gonna lie, they don't know. And so you're gonna have to call, then you're gonna ask them the number. How do I get a hold of their HOA? They don't have the number. So you have to look all that up, call the HOA, find out if they're up to speed on their payments, how much they're paying and how often they're paying. Because they're not gonna know. 80% of them don't know. So
$31.
yeah, they just throw a number out there and you're putting that on the MLS. So your ass is gonna be on the line if it's wrong. You're putting documents on the MLS for people to see. This is supposed to be an accurate legal document. This house is for sale, here's all the information. If it's wrong, that's on you. So you need to be sitting at their house doing this stuff, making sure that they're giving you the right information. Listings are the gold though. I mean, you can do 6 listings and not be overwhelmed. But if you had 6 buyers, you'd be pulling your hair out.
So let's say your first 3 deals are buyers,
Okay,
and you're doing that 70-30 with this company. So when you come up, let's say the 4th deal or the 5th deal is gonna be where you actually do a listing. And you've never done one. So will they do the same deal even after the 30, 70?
no, it's gonna be 100%. You're just gonna come to me or Mark or whomever and say, I've never done a listing and I'll go out and do it for you and you watch me.
Ask the question.
See, I'm of the mindset that I could spend 3 hours teaching you how to do a listing listing presentation. And you'll somewhat understand it. Or I could take you out and do it for you and you can watch me and you're gonna get 100% understanding of how to do it because you'll see it done. You'll remember everything I do versus me, everything I tell you. So seeing is believing, you know, watching someone do it is really a big plus. There's a team over in our office, the Mitchell Williams team. It's the biggest team probably in the country. They got 80 people on that team and they have 4 managers on that team and they don't let you do anything by yourself. They don't even let you go through buyers by yourself the first time. They go out with you. So it's all hand-on mentoring. And that's why they're so successful. They're number 1 for a reason. And people don't leave them for a reason. And people are dying to get on their team for a reason because they get trained extremely. They're the only team I have ever seen in real estate teach how to flip a home. And if they're flipping homes and you want to get involved, they'll even let you put your money into the flip and pay you the percentage that you put in. Nobody does that. I mean, nobody. Nobody even will talk to you about flipping homes. I mean, that's an investor thing. And these guys teach you how to do it. And they're extremely good. They're extremely personal, smart, fun to be around, very intelligent. And I love watching them at work because they're so good with their agents. People don't quit that team when they join. But everybody has a different way of doing things. I will tell you, I'm a firm believer, it's a personal thing now. I'm a firm believer in never having to pay to join a team. Any team trying to make you pay money to join them, turn around and walk away. You shouldn't have to do that. So.
I don't know if you know, but like, do you know what their commissions like splits are for their?
No, I don't get into that with them. I know that they follow my training. I follow their training, so we work together as a group, and anybody who joins their team that's training with me, they usually are 15 to 16 weeks ahead of everybody else. And here's the cool thing, they'll come in, and if some of their agents are sitting around the office, they'll come in and say, okay, you come on, jump in my car. And then they jump up into the McDonald Highlands, they're going into a listing presentation themselves, because they're selling. And they're selling a $15 million home, and they'll let these guys sit there and watch them do the presentation. Who does that? I mean, that's just incredible. Take a car load up and watch me. Type of attitude. They're just amazing people. They're fun to watch. They're very good at what they do. And we're lucky to have them. They come over here and do presentation. I think they were here for that
Yeah, they came for the
team leader.
Yeah, there was three of them. There was them, Damian Caldwell, and then Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Brian and Shad. Yeah, there were two owners of the team. What'd you think of them?
No, yeah, they're good. One of them, one of them was super chill. The other one seems like more intense.
Hyper.
Yeah. Well, no, not hyper. He just seems more intense. Like
One's the number guy and one's the action guy, and they feed off
I
each
feel
other.
like the intense one is more the action. The one that's really laid back is more kind of like the numbers.
Yep. Yeah, that's Brian.
And
Shad's the taller one. He's the more action guy.
well, the one that's more fit is the one I was saying. He seems more of like more.
Yeah. Intense.
Yes.
He can take over a room in seconds. I mean, I've seen him walk into rooms where he knew nobody, and there was like 100 people, and in a matter of minutes, he had the whole room under control.
Well, he like even though he was like intense and stuff, like you can he had a good way of a couple of his like words and stuff, which I liked. That's actually like drew me towards him out of all of them. But yeah, there's other aspects that drew me towards them. But like right now for me, I want to work by myself and see if I could do it by myself first before I would join a team.
Sure.
But yeah, they're definitely a team I would go with first.
The luxury of them is that they provide leads, and
yeah, that's what they said. Like like they have so many leads where they're like sometimes they put them on the platter, but it's just I don't know. For me, it's just like, can I do this by myself first? And
I did it. I didn't do a team.
I
actually had a team for a while before Caldwell bought Brodkin. Caldwell bought the Brodkin team. Brodkin was around for a while, and I joined the Brodkin team, and I had 80 members under me. So I had 80 members of my own team under the Brodkin team, and then I decided to go back. Well, they recruited me in here to manage, so I came in here and managed, so I got out of that.
Yeah, the only thing for me is like even though I'm doing on my own, like there's gonna still be like certain people I want to have like in my contacts. Like for example, him, just like, hey, if I'm out of town, like, can you help me out? Like if I'm on vacation, like
Step 3.
yeah,
There's 3 of you. So you're all covering each other whenever you're leaving. You
Yeah.
always know that when someone's gone, there's 2 people there covering.
yeah, because I was like, hey, if I have a buyer, like I don't want to be on my vacation the whole time while I'm on vacation stressing out about that. I want to be like, hey, I know he'll cover me.
Let your office manager know, let your title people know, let your lender know, and let your clients know that your 2 partners are covering for you while you're gone, and they'll do the same for you.
Yeah.
Cover for them, they'll cover for you. 3 people though. 2, there's too much chance of something going wrong. He gets tied up with a client, and then you go on vacation, and then your client needs help, and he's working with this client. What do you do?
Makes
With
sense.
3, it works.
Yeah.
You always have the extra body to
That makes sense.
fill in. So you're all quiet, what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
How many classes have you taken?
So far, I'm six.
6?
Four more to go.
Are you liking it?
Love it, yes, interesting, like he said, a lot of information, and you never know what's going on behind the scene. But once you learn, like you say, it'll be simple.
You're gonna get rid of a lot of the information that you're learning, because you're not gonna use it. You'll find the things that you wanna use and things you don't wanna use. You pick and choose the things you like, and so you'll eliminate them, push them to the side, and concentrate on the things that you wanna concentrate on. It makes it easier, because you don't have this whole ball of wax of stuff, you just got a narrow road of stuff that you wanna concentrate on. You're gonna find it easy though. Use the Ford technique. When you talk to people, use the Ford technique. Family, occupation, recreation / vacation, and dreams. If you can relate to them in any of those 4 categories, you'll raise yourself from realtor to friend, because you're talking to them on their level. And maybe just a band they like that you went and saw. You can talk about the band. So now you're talking about something they like. So you've raised yourself to a friend, and you're not a realtor anymore. Guaranteed you're gonna be the one to get into their business. It's a technique that will not fail you. Family, you'll find a lot of connection with that. Occupation, depending on what people in their family do, what kind of jobs, a lot of times you'll find a job connection. But recreation, vacation out here is just a big one. From going to, cruises to California coast, Disneyland, to bands, to shows. I mean, there's just so many things that you can have in common with these people. And once you find the commonality, it's party's over. They just connect to you. So that's it. If we don't have nothing else.
Is the Mitchell guys were they just doing real estate the whole time, or did they do did one of them do military prior or anything like that?
What Metro?
The Mitchell group?
Yeah.
Oh, the Mitchell.
company,
Were they? No, they came in real estate fresh.
Okay,
Fresh.
ask the girls up front and they should give you a folder.
John, I was asking him for the folder.
Oh, yeah, that's no fun.
You're in this office?
No,
No.
yeah,
They probably will give you one. Tell them John said so.
okay.
Mine came with pretty much all of them except for.
Yes.
this.
Because we're gonna
So
go.
they're all numbers,
there?
everything was already
How do
there
we know
except
if we
for
have to
this.
make an appointment
Oh.
or just walk
I
by?
have all of them,
You're going
and the
to,
very first thing I did in Somerville, they just said.
you're gonna do what again?
So Monday we're gonna go, with his buyers to look at houses. How do we know if we have to make an appointment or if we can just walk by?
Do you have MLS access?
I do, yeah.
Alright, when you go on the MLS sheet, it'll tell you. Pull up one.
We have one for the.
Nelly, feel better, Nelly.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys.
But let's see. Okay.
Well, it's nice to meet you guys.
That's
Bye,
good.
thank you.
So, showing time, so you basically have to go on showing time and set an appointment, to go see that house. So, yeah, and it'll tell you, but you're the best way of looking for houses, if you're showing houses, looking for, key any. And they're usually vacant. Nobody's living there, you can go in anytime you want. It says that, it's easy. Other times you might have to meet the agent, call the agent for an appointment. It'll give you all your instructions right there under the showing. So just go, every listing you're going to, that's where you go to.
Go to where it says showing it,
Mhm.
it gives you the description of what to do.
Yeah, and in this particular
Oh,
case, I would,
there's a schedule showing right there, there's the button.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it.
so that's where you go whenever you want.
Okay. So when it shows the, what was it? Yeah,
Key any.
you just walk in there.
It should be vacant though, key any, and see this one says, owner occupied. That would be vacant.
Okay. And if it's vacant, it just has a lockbox and you have the access to it.
Then it's a key in, yeah, you just open the lockbox, go in and check. Now, they'll see you open that lockbox and it'll register to them right away, so they know you walked into their house. They may call you and say, so how'd your clients like the house? And if you're just going in there to see the house yourself, say, I'm just previewing the house for my clients, that's all you have to say.
Okay.
Perfect. It gives you a chance to open lockboxes and practice that too.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Is this the?
So we just email them saying that we wanted to see it, and then they reply back saying that they. Okay.
I don't like showing time myself. I like to be able to call the agent and say, I'm going in to see your house, okay? You're coming over to see, are you just, is it okay, let the client know, what's the deal there? Yeah, showing time, there's nobody talking, I wanna talk to somebody, know what's going on.
So this
It's
is
my-
I know the other ones we can pick times, but this one. Yes, I just put in, you had a receipt video? Or. Okay. And I think you do the first one, run for as the, they'll take your licensing, whatever application. Then
So what?
just call right now.
Did they tell you how long you have to lay down?
Oh, no. She said a couple weeks, but
Okay. Fine,
then you just push one for the licensing.
thank you.
So, were you?
For this one, their schedule is open, so whenever
Oh, sweet, they let us pick this, the time.
So it's 15 minutes, increments, and just choose one, and then they can move back if it's okay, and then I'll let you know. Do you want to pick a time right
If
now?
I had one, but I don't want to do that, unless you have one.
Help me.
If you do a listing presentation, I'll go do it for you, you watch me do it,
Oh, perfect.
okay? Just give me enough time to prepare it and stuff. Why do you plan on some, one coming?
Not really, but.
Are we able to make them one 15 minutes?
Yeah, still waiting.
Yeah, they said, appointments can overlap, so we could still be there if somebody shows up.
Same time.
Oh,
I think it's just showing them like what time.
That's the.
oh, right at intake.
I'm not pushing this.
That's
You manage that team, because you said that to the team, they would send you out to the next person.
Well, that's 30 minutes.
See?
Yeah,
That's the advantage of having a team.
Yeah.
Get to see all that stuff.
All right, thank you so much.
Two guys. Right on my phone.
Just gotta wait for the confirmation from the listening agent.
Oh, okay.
And then once I get that, then I'll let you
And
know. I think once the guy sees our appointment.